Chris,
Well, listen, Mark, listen, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to with anything?
How much coffee did you drink before the show?
Listen, you can't polish a sneaker, right? throw tomatoes at me, do whatever you're going to do.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel, presented by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching, 30 minutes following every Patriots game. Chris Corso alongside Mark Catone and, of course, Joe Guarnieri, our producer and director. Listen, he's got us up on YouTube, so subscribe, give us that thumbs up. You can also catch us at Podbean. Mark, there's a lot of ways for people to get in touch with us, so email us. Email us at corso.catone@gmail.com. Check us out at Twitter, at Corso_Catone, at Corso_Catone, and our heated hotline. Give us a call, 855-313-PATS. Leave us a message 24/7. Joe will pick the one he likes, put it up on the air, and Mark and I will discuss it. And that one may be yours. So 855-313-7287, the heated hotline. Mark, always have a packed show, and among other things, we're going to get to Yankees versus the Yankees versus Red Sox, which I think they just threw out the first pitch.
Yep.
And also tune in for Catone's comments. You never ever want to miss that, Mark. We never know what you're going to come up with, so you don't want to miss that. It's definitely worth the wait. And our Patriots preview of the Saints tomorrow, where they travel to New England at 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll have all coverage on that, and join us 30 minutes following, Mark and I, for all your post-game coverage. So, Mark, how are you feeling today?
I'm ready to go, of course.
I always have to ask Mark that question because we never know when he's going to go off the rails. So, Joe, since Mark is ready to go, let's get into heated hotline.
Well, today, I'm going to put this up. Today we had a heated hotline, but the caller's his audio is a little muffed up, if you will. So, but basically, what do you? I'm just going to jump in right here and tell you that what he was talking about was Brady's dad in the news, talking about Belichick, and basically saying that calling out Belichick as if Belichick didn't want Brady there to begin with, and sort of putting that out there in the news. And I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And the caller, it was Steve from Cincinnati, actually, oddly enough, which is weird because I didn't even know we reached that far, which is cool though. But his question was that: what do you guys think about Brady's dad sort of getting in the mix with Belichick?
Joe, we reach everywhere. We're all over the place.
I know.
We're everywhere.
Somebody say Cincinnati.
So, no, listen, thank you, Steve, for the message. Hey, Steve, next time, Steve, you're going to leave a message. Make sure it's audible so we can actually play.
Next time, have two less bourbons, right, and we'll be able to understand you.
That way we can play it on the air. But you know what? Joe picked the right one, I think, right? Because, Mark, I heard the same thing. And we can also get into Guerrero, too. But, go ahead, Mark. What do you think of those comments?
Listen, the father, Brady's father, nice guy, right? It's a week before we're playing him next week, obviously, right? Now they're back they want to get themselves back in the media, right? We haven't heard from the father since the summer. All of a sudden, we play Tampa next week. He's going to throw that out there. I won't be surprised, Chris, if you heard the father again this week talking more, right? Somebody will grab him. He can't control himself. He's got to speak, right? Guerrero's nothing but a leech, a jerk leech who's making money off of Brady. He's calling Belichick like Bonnie the dinosaur, right? He's calling basically a dinosaur, right? And, Chris, listen, and I'm going to say something. Brady has been nothing but class with all of this. Like, he commented again this week and said, hey, I got nothing but good things, good experiences there. It was a great experience. I have nothing but gratitude for what they gave me and what I did there. And this is a new chapter. So you know what? Screw those people. I mean, come on. Brady knows what Belichick did for him.
Yeah, listen, these guys are writing checks. Brady has to cash, right?
Exactly.
So, and the father's been doing that. And, Brady comes out and says this week, well, people are protective, and that's the nature of people that are close to you. They're very protective, but I enjoyed my, the same rhetoric. See, I enjoyed my
and what
time
else is he
there,
gonna say?
20 years and all this other nonsense. Yeah, look, I don't have as much problem with Mr. Brady Sr.
I don't have a problem
as
with
I
him.
do.
Guerrero, I do.
As I do with Guerrero. And
Because
you know
Guerrero's
what?
a leech.
He is a little weasel. Doesn't he look like a little weasel
He
too?
does
Doesn't
look
he?
like a weasel. He does.
Yeah, he attached himself to Brady, got him to, believe. I think Brady could have figured all this out on his own. I don't think he needed Guerrero for all this, but he's got Guerrero. And you realize the amount of trouble Guerrero's gotten in his career. He's got lawsuits. He's got things that were pulled off the market. Some of these things he created. So his whole claim to fame is Tom Brady. Yeah, now he wants to come out and say, but Mark, all the things he said this week about Belichick is basically a dinosaur, is what he's saying. He's basically saying he didn't evolve with the times. He treated Brady like he was a 20-year-old rookie, and he should have realized that Brady was a different. So it was irritating or frustrating for Tom. Love how he speaks for him too, right? I love how he speaks for him. But, he says all that stuff. But Mark, do you think that it's got anything to do with the Wickersham book that's about to come out in about 2 weeks?
Probably.
There has to be something in that book. I'm sure, because there are writers and people that have gotten this book and have already looked at it, like Michael Holley, guys like that. And what's his name? Phil Perry.
So what do you think? There's something in that book that's a little disparaging towards Brady?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think there's some things that are coming out in that. Look what came out during Deflategate. So, I mean, with this guy. So I think there are things in this book that are coming out that the Brady camp doesn't like, and they want to get out in front of it. If that's not, I mean, right, it has to be, because you're hearing them lately. It's been the last, 4 months or so, you've been really seeing a push out of these guys talking about, Tom and the irritation in the winglet and all that other nonsense. So,
listen,
I don't know.
They can talk about whatever they want, Chris. All I know is last year, the night before the damn Super Bowl, Brady is texting offensive players at midnight before the game. Hey, right. Remember this. Where the hell do you think he got that game preparation from? He didn't learn that as a 20-year-old rookie on his own. He learned that in the goddamn film room with Belichick, because they didn't leave one stone unturned when they prepared for a big game. Okay? That's where we learned the routines, the rituals, the film study, everything. And he, of course, over 20 years, he took it with him to Tampa. Those fools didn't know. You think Arians knew how to prepare for a goddamn game, that cartoon character? Of course not. Brady took that there, and he's doing it there, right? So I don't want to hear Guerrero's BS, right? You know what? I'm going to call it out. I don't want to hear his bullshit about, he didn't treat him right. He didn't evolve. He won 6 goddamn Super Bowls. What more do you want?
Joe, Mark has arrived on the show. Here he is.
He's just got here. Ladies and gentlemen, he is here.
Guerrero.
Welcome in, Mark.
Guerrero.
Listen, no, I agree with you. And to say that Belichick hasn't evolved and all that. Look, he let Guerrero in, but he was disrupting the locker room.
Pissed off. You're right, Chris, because he was disrupting the locker room. He shut him out. Now all of a sudden Guerrero can't stand him because he shut you out.
Well, he was calling into question all the training staff and all this other stuff, and it was just becoming messy. But, look, Belichick is who he is, too. What, are you going to change him? No, that's not the way it is. He didn't do it for Lawrence Taylor. He's not going to do it for Tom Brady. I mean, that's just the way this guy's built, and you shouldn't be surprised by it. So, Steve, thank you. We thank you for the call, the sort of call, the message that you left. Joe, thank you for disseminating that for us.
2 less bourbons, and we'll get you right on the show. 2 less.
So the Heated Hotline was brought to you by Jag Media Productions. Everything you see here is brought to you by Jag Media Productions. So, Mark, listen. Here we are now. I got to
adjust my lighting, Chris. I got this big bright thing in my face. I can't.
All right. While Mark adjusts his lighting, we're going to talk.
Is it possible if you could get out there and adjust the sun?
There we go. I'm good.
Right. Move the sun, Mark.
I'm good.
But while Mark fixes all his stuff that he's got going on over there, we want to get into Yankees versus Red Sox. Literally, I mean, they're playing right now. So, Joe, let's have it.
Oh, yeah.
8-3 last night, Mark. So the Yankees, they took care of the Red Sox in a big way. I mean, that's a lot. That's a big, and I want to hear your comments about that game. But Cole, Cole got the win last night. What were your impressions first of that, and what do you see happening here in the next 2 days?
Cole did get the win, which was important. It was a big win, obviously. Cole pitched. He did his thing because he was absolutely horrendous his last start. Listen, Yankees came out, Chris, and hit. They did what they're supposed to do. They came out, and the guy they hit off of is a guy that they haven't had no success off of since he's become a Red Sox. Eovaldi. Nathan Eovaldi has owned the New York Yankees since he became a Red Sox. And the Yankees came out from the first inning and were batting him all over. He didn't know what hit him. His head was spinning at the end of the second inning. I mean, they came out. They came out. It was like batting practice in that first inning. They scored 3 runs in the top of the first, and that was basically the game. Listen, that was a big win. You got to win at least 2 out of these 3 games. Obviously, you want to sweep, but if you win 2 out of 3, you're a game behind the Red Sox going into the final week and a half. And listen, you want to if it's going to be Yankees Red Sox, you want to host that game at Yankee Stadium because you know it's going to be Sale against Cole, and you don't want to have to play that game in Fenway Park, right? Sale Cole, you don't want that game there. So it was a big win. And we'll get into it a little bit more as we go a little further into this conversation, Chris. But the Red Sox are gambling next week with their rotation. They're not going to change their rotation around, and they're going to go Eovaldi, Sale earlier in their last 2 series. The way it plays out, they're pitching them the series. They're going to come up the series before. When they get to the last series of the season, if they need to win a game or 2 to stay in the number 1 spot, they're not going to have their horses on the mound. And Cora was getting some criticism about, do you play around with your rotation a little bit to make sure you get in? Or if Toronto gets hot, maybe you don't even get in. If you're not, you know what I mean? Like maybe you save one of those guys for the last 3 games. But that's the way it's going to work out.
Yeah, right now Boston's 1 up on them in like you say, in the wild card. And look, Toronto's fading a little bit. What do they have? 8 games left, including the one today?
Yeah, but we got 3 at Toronto coming up.
I know. So listen, if New York, like you say, if New York takes care of business, if they win both of these series, and listen, I think Seattle's now tied with them.
Toronto, if we win 2 out of 3 in Toronto and 2 out of 3 here, we're in good shape.
I think the goal and the view needs to be, we got to catch Boston, like you say. They want that game. They want that game in New York, just like you say. They just have that edge. Although we'll see what happens in these next 2 games over here in Boston. But again, the pitching's going to matter, especially in that one game. I mean, it's going to be epic, I think. I mean, Cole versus Sale, Mark.
No matter what, it's going to be Cole Sale no matter where you play.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, and you know what? There's no nonsense about setting up for the next series and doing that. No. It's one game takes all. Let's go. Let's see what happens. And then
it's going to be Cole Sale. Yep, absolutely. And I think they're gonna have Bucky Dent throw out the first pitch.
There you go. At least it's not, if it's in Boston, maybe Bill Buckner will throw out the first pitch. I don't think that guy's even allowed in the city.
Billy Buckner.
In the city. Hey, did you see that Mets? Did you see that that program they put on? It's, I think, a 30 for 30 on ESPN about the Mets, the 86 Mets.
I missed that.
Oh, if you haven't seen that,
did that idiot Strawberry say the 86 Mets were better than the Yankee team that won 105 games?
Yes. Yeah.
Does the cokehead understand they only won that World Series because Buckner blew the ground ball?
Well, you know what's funny
he blew a lot of brain cells over years.
You watch that. If you haven't seen it out there, watch it. Because it covers everything that was going on in their life too. I mean, these guys were that Mets team was off the wall. Off the wall, they were. And Mark, when you talk about talking about that Buckner play, sometimes I look at it and say, well, he had Mookie, running down, and he was quick. And I think he kind of rushed that because he didn't know if he was going to get over to the bag. The bottom line is he should have been out there to begin with.
Bottom line is Dave Stapleton came in for defense every friggin' game down the stretch in the 9th inning.
Right.
And all of a sudden, why? They wanted Buckner on the field when they won the World Series. Talk about bad managing. You put Stapleton out there because that's what you do.
Yeah. And that's how, and the Mets, you know what they were looking at? That team was so off the wall. They were looking at, they made a comment about Roger Clemens that he had a beard while he was pitching. And then in the post game, when he got pulled from the game, he went and shaved for the post game interview, and that's why you see him clean shaven. This is what the Mets were paying attention to. They were off the wall.
Yeah, they were off the wall.
Listen, people forget though. You had the lead. You could have won that. You could have won Game 7, and they had the lead, right? They had like a 3-4 run lead.
Did, but Game 6 was the game. That was Buckton's game.
Yeah, it was the game. So, but anyway, listen, Mark, with the Red Sox turning to them, does everyone owe Bloom an apology at this point? Do you think?
Well, yeah, I don't know if you owe him an apology, Chris. I mean, he gambled, and I guess his gamble worked, right? If you're at the crap table and you're throwing dice, you're gambling, right? I think he gambled.
Joe, it always comes back to that with this.
Of course it does. Of course.
It always comes back to that. Crap table, blackjack table.
Right? What?
Yeah, we need to do a gambling show because sports betting's legal everywhere now, Mark, which is dangerous for you and I. But go ahead. Boom.
But Chris, so I think he gambled at the trade deadline and said, "Hey, what if we make the playoffs? We make the playoffs. If not, we weren't supposed to make it this year anyways." And it turns out he's a genius. They're going to make the playoffs, and he didn't give up anything to really sneak in. They're going to get in, And so I don't know if we owe him an apology necessarily, but
not us.
But I think he took some heat that maybe now he can say "F you" to everybody that gave him the heat. I got us in. I was right.
Right. Not us. We don't have an apology because we are the real deal New England. And if you listen to these morons, okay, on the radio back where you guys are, they were torturing this guy about it. And you and I said, hey, players play. Cut the crap. You played 105 games and you were on top. And now all of a sudden you were pouting like babies because he didn't make a move. They wanted to stick the course. We're staying the course as to what we're going to do in our plan. And that's what they did.
Yeah. Chris, I know players play, right? But if you look, and I know we've brought up on this show several times, well, if you look at the Red Sox, the first 100 games, 120 games, they are what they are, and they were a good team. They were. But if you look at the last 15 games, they've got hot again. But if you look at the teams they're beating, Chris, none of them have winning records. So I am going to say this, Chris. Come playoff time, I don't know how much they're going to give you because they're not beating anybody that's got a winning record. They're beating up on the worst teams in the league. Yeah, they've won 7 straight. Yeah, they won 7 games in a row against teams that stink. So that's all I'm saying to you. So I'd be a little cautious to Red Sox fans thinking, oh, we're getting hot again. You're getting hot against the worst teams in the league. Last night you got your brains beat in because you played a team that was halfway decent. You know what I mean?
That's why I say, reserve the opinion until if they could beat the Yankees in that game, then I think Bloom's going to get a pass. Look, Mark, just look at some of the numbers here. You talk, he got tortured about not getting Rizzo, right? Schwarber and Rizzo. Look at their numbers. 6 since they got to their team. 6 home runs for Schwarber, 18 RBIs. Rizzo, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs. There's not a lot of difference there, is there?
No, there isn't. There isn't. But I think Rizzo was hot early and Schwarber got hot later in this whole trade scenario.
But that doesn't take into account the defensive issues for Boston.
No,
those numbers.
They still needed the first baseman, Chris, because of those defensive issues. They would have a few more wins if they had Rizzo at first base. I'll tell you that right now, Chris. And I'll tell you another thing. When the Yankees picked up Rizzo, I understand that their stats are the same, but Rizzo was hot when they first got him, and he ignited a spark, and he was part of that, getting them rolling a little bit to make up ground. So I still think it was a good deal for the Yankees, even though when you look at their numbers, and numbers don't say the entire story, it does look like they're pretty equal, right, at this point. Chris, but let me ask you something. Again, I'm going to throw it out there now that we're almost done with the regular season. Does Boone save his job?
I think if he beats the Red Sox, he does
But Chris, what's interesting? And I didn't realize this. His contract's up. He has no contract for next year.
I don't think he's coming back.
This is the last year of his contract. So they don't got to fire him, Chris. I think they just don't renew it.
Yeah. I don't think he's coming back. I really don't. So today, Cortez versus Pivetta. We'll see what happens in that game. But Yankees versus Red Sox were presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Startup, Finance, and Drive Yourself to Success. SpecialSaucePodcast.com. When we come back, CATONE'S comments.
Chris, I always, and you know this about me, Chris, I always pride myself in the fact that I'm very generous. I have some different charities, different things I donate to, right? And you know that. And I don't publicize what I donate to or what charities I'm good to, right?
Very, very modest and unassuming.
Right?
Mark.
Yes.
For real. Yes.
But, Chris, I'm going to lose my mind. Every damn store I go to lately, I go to the supermarket. You're checking out. Can you donate $1 to this group, to that group? You're at the checkout counter with your card. Well, people are waiting. They're looking at you. The guy's looking at you, the checkout guy. What am I going to do? Look like a deadbeat. Okay, I'll donate $1. Boom, donate. Wonderful. I go to the next store. Same thing. You're donating to, I don't even know what I'm donating to, Chris. It's cosmetic surgery for the cashier's sister's ass. I don't know what it is. That's all it is. Donate $1. Boop. I donate $1. It's great. I go to the pet store to get my dog pet food. You know, he hasn't made an appearance on the show in a while. I get pet food. I got to donate to the ASPCA. Are you kidding me? What is this? Donate. I need a donation for crying out loud. Donate to the Mark Catone Fund. Something. Jesus Christ. Chris, that's what this is insanity. So when you go to the store, stick it to the consumer again because they embarrass you into donating. Listen, I'm into donating. Like I said, I give to my own personal charities. I give to different things. But when I go to a store, every damn screen in every store, it's donation. Donate $1 to this. You want to donate that? Well, you look like a goddamn deadbeat. You got somebody like impending danger on your neck. They're waiting for you to check out. They're looking at the screen. Is this deadbeat gonna donate? Yeah, honey, don't worry about it. I'm gonna hit the yes button. Get off my neck. I hit the yes button. The cashier's looking at my face. Okay, I'm going to give the money. Don't worry about it. I'm going to give it. But Jesus Christ, Chris, are you kidding me?
Well, and you know, if you're giving the $1, those are the people they don't really want to do it. They're just doing it because, you know, like you say, they're guilted into doing it. Hey, listen, I will say Mark is a very generous person. We talked about 8 months ago.
Chris, you can't even give more than $1. It says donation $1, and you hit the button.
Well, they got the 1, the 5, the 10. Don't they have the option?
No. In this state, it's a donation. They give you a preset amount. You just hit yes, and they add it onto your bill, which I don't care. But Jesus Christ, let me pick and choose what I want to donate to.
Mark, listen, you were an advocate for the hockey player 8 months ago, the GoFundMe account. So yeah, you do. And for me, my whole thing is children.
Listen, today
anything to do with children.
Chris, I went to one of those dirty big box stores. I walked out. There was a kid there. It was for the Boy Scouts of America.
Yeah.
I went and donated. I put money in the jar, whatever. But I chose to do that. Don't stick it in my face and try to embarrass me when I'm checking out.
Well, what are you going to do? Walk by them? My kids are Boy Scouts. Yeah. I was a Boy Scout, but they're in the uniform, sitting there with the table. You're not going to just walk by them.
But I'm okay with that, Chris. But don't embarrass me. Every place you check out, you're gonna hit this donate button. Yep, add it on to the bill. Add it on.
Joe, do you notice how every week we're talking about stores and
I need to stay in a cave and never leave the cave. Just lock me up, give me food, drink, and I won't leave.
You listen. Yeah, that's just what I was going to say. You can't go to stores anymore. You know what to do? Instead of the donation of the $1, start bringing some of that crap you have from Home Goods, okay, into the store with you. And say, no, I got something better than $1. Here's this nice little knick-knack little clock, this clock slash,
now he's got to break my beans. Now he's got to break my beans. He knows what that does to me. Home Goods. Now he's breaking my beans over Home Goods.
Give him the clock slash can opener slash beer opener. You know, you could give him that thing instead, right, Mark? So
Chris,
yeah, Mark.
It's not even $1. I don't care about $1. I don't give a shit about $1. It's just the principle of the thing that every place you go, you got to donate to something. listen, I donate. I do donate to things, to charities, different things. But Jesus Christ, every place you go, I don't even know what the hell they're asking me to donate to. I'm reading shit. I'm like, what the hell is this? For your sister's cosmetic surgery on her ass. Okay, yes. I don't freaking know what it is.
Mark, the devout Catholic that you are.
$2 goes a long way.
That's it, Mark. You can feed an entire. Mark, come on, Mark. Don't be Cratchit. You know what the problem is, Joe? It's all those people driving around them in every back, front, side to side.
That's speaking of that, I almost got killed. Listen, I almost got killed yesterday. A guy's in a police chase. He blows through a red light. He hits a car. He bangs off another car. It was like a pinball machine. And then he's coming right at me. I pull over up on a sidewalk to get away from the guy. He drives by me. He stops the car. He gets out of the car. He starts running. There must have been 20 cops chasing him. I don't know. I don't know what the hell was going on.
Mark, give him my card.
Yeah, I should have gave him your card. But the police were chasing him. I should have yelled out the window, Corso Law Group.
The bottom line is, Mark, stay out of the stores from now on. So, as always, entertaining as hell, Mark. Catone's comments brought to you by CORSO Law Group. Arizona's hey, you know what? Maybe we need to expand into Rhode Island, too.
There you go, Chris.
But Arizona's leading criminal law firm, CORSOLawGroup.com, allow us to be your voice. And on that, Joe, I think we have to get the break right now. We must have to get the break. So,
Mark needs a breather. Hang on.
Coming back, Pat's preview of the Saints game tomorrow, right after this.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CORSOLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. CORSO Law Group.
And welcome back to Corso and Catone. Yeah, that Pats Nation promo, Joe. 30 minutes following the Patriots-Saints game tomorrow. Mark and I will have all your post-game coverage. However, we do have our preview first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, right, Mark? Let's not get ahead. But the Saints travel to the Patriots tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. So, Mark, listen, I ask you every week, what is it going to take offensively for the Patriots to beat this team?
Well, Chris, I still think they got to take the training wheels off this kid. I mean, I've been saying it. I mean, I know they don't have the greatest receiving core, Chris, but Jesus Christ, get J.J. Taylor involved a little bit more. Get the tight ends involved a little bit more. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the New Orleans Saints, Chris, do have a good front four. Their weakness is their secondary. Okay, they went and picked up the corner from Houston. Rumor is they're still interested in Stephon Gilmore. So the Saints' weakness, Chris, is their secondary. They can stop the run. So I don't think you're going to pound this team and beat them with the running game. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to mix it up a little bit, but I think you're going to have to throw the ball to beat the New Orleans Saints. So the keys to victory, in my opinion, right off the bat, you're going to have to open the offense up, Chris, I think, because that's New Orleans' weakness is the secondary. And we're going to have to throw the football. And they're going to have to let Jones take the training wheels off more. I mean, I think they did a little bit last week. They're going to have to take them off more this week. Chris, I think you're still on mute.
Sorry. I had to get over that Catone's comment. So I was laughing so hard I had to mute the microphone. Mark, but Mac Jones is completing 74% of his passes, but his 6.2 yards per pass, that's 23rd in the league. So yeah, that lends
that's the training wheels, right?
You got to take the training wheels off a little bit. But the Saints, Mark, have been stingy in the secondary for the past two games. They have been playing pretty good, but I mean, you take it for the teams they're playing against. but they are dealing with some health issues. So
They got guys out. They got coaches out tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you got Marsh Lattimore has a hand injury. He's playing banged up. I mean, he missed the Panthers game, and so didn't Gardner Johnson. He missed the Panthers game too. But so they're going to be playing at less than 100%. So Mark, I agree with you. That they're going to have to put the ball in the air. Now, like Marcus Davenport went on injured reserve for that pass rusher the Saints have.
Pass rusher.
Yeah, but their
front seven is good, Chris.
Their front seven's pretty good. It is, but they are missing a couple of guys. So I mean, Aguilar, Bourne's got to get much better. I mean, my God, get open, do something to get open. And as far as Aguilar goes, he was asked this week about the deep passing game. And said, do you need to take more shots down the field? And his response to that, he's now a Patriot. So his response to that was, hey, look, this is a precision offense. These coaches are really smart. The game plan's really smart. It changes. So, we're very precise in what we do. So it's not just taking shots down the field,
Chris,
So
I have a theory. The training wheels aren't coming off until week 4. And they're going to rip the damn training wheels off. And they're going to give Tampa Bay a look that they haven't been able to see on film. And they're going to let this kid loose. And because that's the only way they're going to stay in that game, Chris. But I think it's strategic. The training wheels are strategic because they're going to rip them off game 4. And there's going to be no film to see what this kid can do with the training wheels off.
Yeah, I mean, look at James White is their leading pass catcher with 12. And then Jacoby Myers has 10 right now for 82, but 10 for 82 yards.
Yeah.
And 12 receptions for in 2 games for White. So yeah, that completely plays into what Mark is saying about the training wheels and not pumping the ball down the field and just taking what you get. I have no problem with taking what they give you. I mean, that's what was going on. I watched some of that 0-1 season the other night, some of those games, and even the Super Bowl, Mark, that year. It was short past the Brown, short past the Redmond, short past the Wiggins, Vinatieri hits the field goal. So all that crap about Bledsoe saying, go out there, F that, go sling it. He wasn't slinging it. He was doing what Mac Jones does. Take what they give you, so on and so forth. So I think they can win with that. But Mark, to me, the biggest thing on offense, well, the second biggest thing, because we'll get to the offensive line. The biggest thing is getting these tight ends involved. You've got to do better than what they
Chris,
have.
what are they going to do, do you think, to get these guys involved? What are they doing? Then what are they not doing schematic wise to get these guys involved?
Well, first of all, get them on the field at the same time. Number one. Okay, get these 2 guys on the field at the same time. Spread the defense out, especially if you're worried about a Saints pass rush. Okay, if you're worried about a Saints pass rush and they dinged up in the secondary a little bit, then spread these guys out. Get Hunter Henry, if they're playing against cover 2 safeties in the middle, get him to run that seam pass like he did last week. Okay, Jonnu Smith can run those delayed outs and then get up the field with his power. So to me, getting them on the field at the same time, and my God, Mark, in the red zone. I mean, if nothing else, get these guys the ball, get them on the field at the same time, and get these guys the ball in the red zone. Even if you spread them out, and this is all over the field, even if you spread them out and get them on the field, you can run out of that too. And that just opens up that middle box to allow you to run the ball also. So, I mean, that's what I think needs to be done, but nothing's going to work. And nothing's going to work if they don't do what, Mark? I mean, this...
They're going to pass protect a little bit.
I mean, this offensive line.
Well, listen, Trent Brown, I think, is playing, Chris. He practiced yesterday, I believe.
Well, I got the injury report right here.
Is he on it?
Well, as of Friday, I didn't see today's.
But I think he practiced yesterday, full practice.
There are no players that were listed out, no doubtful. Yeah. The question marks are, and 3 of them that are important, are Trent Brown with a calf, questionable. Adrian Phillips, that's not injury related, so I think he'll probably play. And Uche was a new one on the list yesterday with some sort of back problem.
What? I'm a little.
That can be a problem too because of the pass rush.
I'm a little with him. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
But Damian Harris, it's good he's not on there, Chris, because he was on there in the middle of the week with his finger.
Yeah, he came off on Friday, which is always a good sign.
which is a
he'll
good
play,
sign. He'll
because
play.
they're going to need him. But on that right side of the offensive line, Mark,
If
listen,
Brown is out, Chris, you're gonna have a problem.
and a lot of what they do running in the running game, a lot of those counters, a lot of those traps where the linemen from the other side are pulling over, to block out. That's coming to the right side. It's coming to the right side of the line, and they're going to have to shore that thing up. And as far as pass protection goes, yeah, man, he got hit 9 times in the first game. I don't know how
Chris,
many he got hit in the second
New Orleans
game.
can get to New Orleans can get to the quarterback better than the Jets could. So that's going to be a problem if you can't protect that right side, because New Orleans will get to him.
Well, like I said, when I give, when the Patriots are passing, I mean, I give the edge right now to the Saints. I do. In the pass rush, only because of what I've seen out of the.
Chris, we're going to have to establish a running game then to take a little bit of heat off them.
Yeah, well, you know what? They get the edge there too. I mean, they're really good against the running game too. They only allow 66 yards per game. That's third in the league. 2.8 yards an attempt. That's second.
Yeah.
And that was good. And against Christian McCaffrey, he was limited to 72 yards on 24 carry, 3 yards per carry. So you got Cam Jordan, Ringo, Tuttle, Granderson. The linebackers, Davis, Bourne, Dowell. I mean, these guys.
They have a good front seven, Chris. Real
good front seven's good. So they better have fixed the problems that they're having on the right side, and even with Wynn too. Wynn didn't look so hot.
Wynn played, Chris. I'm going to tell you something. I know in our post game last week we talked about the right side of the line, and we called them one of our Sunday stiffs, right? But as
on the Pats Nation, the real Patriots post game show. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. We're plugged there. I like that, Chris. I went back during the week and rewatched some of the film of that game, Chris. Let me tell you something. Wynn stunk too. Wynn did not have a good game at all.
No.
So Wynn, I mean, we didn't really hammer Wynn last week only because the right side of the line was so damn bad. But let me tell you something, Chris. Isaiah Wynn had a bad game, and he didn't play well either.
Yeah. No. And so, Mark, look, it's going to have to be shored up. These are the two, since 2010, these two teams are the top 2 scoring teams in football. Now, both of these teams.
Breeze Brady. Breeze Brady.
Both of these teams, you got to put an asterisk next to that, because both of these teams are missing Breeze, they're missing Brady, and they're basically starting over. So, and I'll tell you, I don't know. I mean, we get to the defensive side here. I'm not sure what Winston's going to give you, what kind of performance he's going to give you. But offensively, Mark, I'd like to see them take the wheels off him just a little bit more this week. Maybe, they're saving things for next week. I understand that. But you got to get the ball down the field a little. You got to stretch them a little bit, because stretching them will allow, especially with the tight ends, Mark, because if you can stretch them out with the tight ends a little bit, spread them out, that's going to have you committing another linebacker into coverage, right?
Yeah.
Another safety, or if you go a dime where you got 6 defensive backs out there, or nickel where you got 5 defensive backs, that helps in the pass rush. That helps in keeping him clean. If you can get the ball down the field a little bit, right? So
absolutely,
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, offensively, they're gonna have to score points tomorrow, because both of these defenses are pretty stingy. They really are.
The chances of New Orleans having that bad of an offensive performance 2 weeks in a row, probably slim, right?
Right.
And don't get me wrong, Winston's hot or cold. He either looks like he's an NFL MVP or he looks like last week. Even if he gives you something in between, you're gonna have to score some points tomorrow, Chris.
Well, getting to that side of the ball now, the defensive side, since you mentioned Winston. Which will the real Jameson Winston please stand up? I mean, I don't know who we're going to get. I don't know if we're going to get the 5 interception Jameson Winston or the 4th touchdown or whatever he scored. I mean, look, we talked about the 2 top scoring offenses in 2010. Well, look, the numbers as of week 2, okay, 127 total yards of offense, lowest in the Sean Payton era. 6 first downs, lowest in the Sean Payton era. Winston, career low quarterback rating. Mark, you ready for this? This quarterback rating for Winston? 26.9 in that game.
Was that wait a minute? Was that less than last week? The Jets quarterback, we were making fun of his quarterback rating.
It's
I
worse.
think it was less. It was worse,
because
right?
he threw 5 picks.
Yeah.
But most importantly, and we should get to this right off the bat. Alvin Kamara was 5 yards rushing, the lowest since his rookie season. So,
well, I'm going to tell you something, Chris. If Kamara doesn't have a good game, they can't beat you.
no.
If they don't get Kamara involved, Chris, even when they had Breeze, Kamara put up huge numbers. Breeze involved him in that offense. If you don't get Kamara rolling, they're going to have a problem tomorrow with us.
And don't you think that that's going to be a game where the Saints, when you look at this Patriots team and you look at this Patriots run defense, okay, it's not good. And it should be better because of all the, all the additions that, the Barmore, Gottschall, Davis, and all these guys. But the Jets don't have a great running attack, and they rush for 152 yards, Mark, on 31 carries.
Yeah, it was not a good performance on that part of the game.
Yeah, now with New Orleans not being able to generate much of a running game over the last week anyway, maybe the edge goes to the Patriots in this, but I would like to think that they're going to try. I mean, after what Winston did last week, I think that Payton's going to want to come out and try to run the ball.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely is going to try to run the ball. I mean, listen, when you look at Kamara's stats, Chris, and you look at how that equated to 5 interceptions, Payton's got to go take a step back and say, okay, look, we got to take some. We can't depend on Winston to win the game. You're going to have some balance, and so they're going to have to involve Kamara to get that balance, because with 5 interceptions, you're not putting the ball in Winston's hand and saying, "Hey, throw the ball 40 times to win the game." That's not happening, right? So you're going to have to involve Kamara. So that's going to be a focus point, I think, of New Orleans. And to your point, Chris, you didn't even mention Lawrence Guy. I think Guy has been awful since the summer.
Since the summer. Absolutely.
I don't know what that. Remember, we talked about it in the summer. I said, Chris, I don't know what the hell's going on with him, but he doesn't look like the same guy. And he hasn't looked like the same guy since the regular season started. But he's somebody, Chris, who has to start to pick up his play if we're going to stop the run, because he was a big part of stopping the run the last couple of years for us. Not that we did a great job, but he played better than the rest of the defensive linemen did the last 2 years. If he doesn't play well, we could have a problem tomorrow stopping the run, which then Winston will feed off that, because, if you can get Winston, Chris, off his spot, he'll make bad decisions.
Well, yeah, and don't make sure you take into account Taysom Hill. I mean, that could create problems in the running game as well, in the run defense. So, that's something to look for. And then when the Saints pass, I give the edge to the Patriots, both in the secondary and the pass rush.
Oh, you have no Michael Thomas, obviously, right now.
No Thomas. Our secondary last week played really, really well. I mean, they were lights out. Now, again, a lot of that stuff was Wilson throwing it in their lap. But, Phillips made that nice play. J.C. Jackson made that nice play for the pick. And you still got to get the ball when they give you the opportunity. So I think.
And is the tight end back, Chris, or is he out? I didn't see their injury report. The kid that you loved coming out of the draft, the kid Troutman for New Orleans, he was out for a little bit. I don't know if he's back. He's a force if he's healthy, but I don't know if he's healthy.
Well, looking at their it looks like their center is out again, McCoy. There's no players that were doubtful, and there's no questionable players.
So I don't know. Now I'm thinking he's playing. I don't know if he got put on IR. I'm not sure if he got put on IR or not.
Well, we could check that.
We could check that. But the tight end is something I'd be interested to see if he plays, because he could take some pressure off them too. But you're right, Chris. Our secondary should be able to handle their receivers without Michael Thomas. No.
Yeah, and a lot of that's going to do with the pass rush too. So let's see the health of Uche, because you and I both like him on the field, and so we'll see if they can get home against against
Well,
Winston.
Chris, we always have your buddy. He'll get pressure. Dietrich Wise.
I'm done with the Dietrich Wise experiment. Get Uche on the field and let's get to the quarterback, because Winston will make mistakes if you do that.
Chris, Dietrich Wise is starting to become your guy, like my guy was, the linebacker Roberts.
Mark, I can't even believe you would bring up number 52. Where is he anyway?
He's with Miami. He's with
Play
Miami.
Football anymore? I don't remember him in game 1 doing anything.
No, that's what he played in game 1. I remember. I heard his name.
Well, Mark, we need him back, Listen, and Jamie Collins is being shopped around now Detroit.
Do you need him though, Chris? If you bring him back, that's almost like an indictment on all the guys you brought in. Like, in other words, it's almost like, okay, we drafted guys, we brought guys in, we failed at that again, and now we're gonna go get Jamie Collins. I don't know if they'll do that. Do you think?
You have to. Well, I can understand why the interest is there a little bit, only because one, he knows their system, and two, how many off ball linebackers did the Patriots really have? When I say off ball, I mean that are playing back off the line of scrimmage, 4 or 5 yards off, can get into coverage, can play in space, run fits, make everybody right, fill gaps.
Okay.
How many do they really have? I mean, they have Bentley, Hightower.
Uche, you would think, can do a little of that though, Chris.
Uche's more of an edge guy, though. I think he's more of an edge guy. A couple of other guys that are there, and so because most of these guys, like you say, Wise is an end, but Uche, Winovich,
and the rookie from Oklahoma, Perkins, is more of an edge guy, I think, too, Chris, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's a guy that can play in the middle. He can play off ball, but he's been hurt.
The other guy who was supposed to play off ball, Chris, but they put him on IR, the second-year kid from Alabama, Jennings.
Yeah, Jennings, yeah. So, Perkins can do it, but we don't know what Perkins can give. He hasn't been on the field yet.
He's been hurt, right?
Yeah, so, and then there's Judon, which Judon is a do-it-all guy, right? So the interest in Jamie Collins, yeah, I could see that. The only problem with trying to get get Jamie Collins is his contract. He's got a huge contract. He's got a big number to have to pay.
I don't want him.
You're not going to want to do that.
At this point, Chris, because we're going to have other priorities in the off season, and I don't want his contract on the books. If because you do have other priorities, but right, based on the way this team is presently built, you need a number one receiver for the quarterback. If that's going to be, he's obviously your guy. So, anyway, but I don't know. We'll see. But Chris, listen. Bottom line, I think our secondary should be able to handle their receivers tomorrow. I'll be shocked if they can't.
Well, so listen, we'll see what the defense is going to do. And Mark, Joe, was that the whistle? Oh, there it is.
That is
Mark,
the whistle.
Mark, that's the whistle for our 2-minute warning, Mark. That's presented by the Pats Nation Patriots post-game show, 30 minutes following every Patriots game. So, Mark, listen, we're at that 2-minute warning now, right, Mark?
Yes. Okay. Chris, I'm going to make a prediction for tomorrow. The training wheels are going to come off a little bit. 31-21 Patriots. 31-21 Patriots. That's what I'm going to go with tomorrow. I think they're going to take the training wheels off, and I think Mac Jones is going to hit Aguilar, Chris, deep for one. Down the seam or up the sidelines. He's going to hit Aguilar for one on a deep throw, and he gets loose. And we're going to see them open up the passing game a little bit tomorrow. So that's my prediction when it comes to that. And just one other quick thing, Chris. I'm going to tell you something. I'm so sick of the fact that people are actually putting credence into what this Alex Guerrero says, and is still sticking mics in his face. They don't understand that he's nothing but a leech. Who the hell wants to hear from Alex Guerrero? Like, who cares about anything he says? Really? That really pissed me off when we had to hear from that little weasel this week. Shut him up. Let him sit on the sidelines and rub Brady's calves. Do whatever the hell he does. But I don't want to hear his opinion on Bill Belichick.
Mark, listen, I can't agree with you more. And some of my wrap up today was going to be part of that as well. But I agree with you. I'm so sick and tired. He's gone now. He's gone. Okay. Brady's gone. He's in Tampa. He's doing really, really well. And I know it's hard for Patriots people to get over that until he's retired. And that's probably just the way it's going to be. But I'm just sick and tired. Yeah, of the shots taken over over the bow at New England. And the problem is there's no fighting back. There's never any fighting back with Belichick. I mean, that you never hear that, whether it's Spygate, Deflategate, this gate, that gate, the other gate. Belichick just doesn't say anything. He doesn't come out and say anything. I mean, he gets criticized for not saying anything, but he doesn't come out and say anything about any other team. He may think it, just like Brady may think, hey, I got screwed over. I was frustrated over there. Belichick's not saying anything like that, right, Mark? I mean, He's sitting there saying, "Hey,
No, you
the
ask
coach
him.
will
He
play
just
well."
he waxes over it, or he doesn't comment on it, and he says, "Oh yeah, we've discussed that already. Tom's time here," and he rolls into another question. He won't address it, which he shouldn't address it. Why are you going to address an idiot like that? Well, that's ridiculous.
But I do. I mean, you talked about. I know this is the 2-minute warning, but wrap up. But Mark, you brought this up, and I think it's important. Listen, I do give Brady some crap for this, also, only because you know better. Okay, you know better. You know better that this wasn't all you. You know better what Belichick did for you early on in your career. You know what the Patriot way was and how you bought into it. And it's one of the reasons why. I'm not taking it all away from him, but it's one of the reasons why he's the player he is today, and he understands the preparation. And to allow your people to just keep talking shit like this, and the only thing you come out and say is, well, the people that support you, that's but I enjoyed my time. I liked it.
Chris, I'm hoping next week.
Shut these people up.
Chris, I'm hoping next week after they play each other, no matter what happens next week, it's done. It's over. And people start like his camp just shut your mouth, go about your season. It's over. That's it. He's moved on. We've moved on. And it's the chapter. Hopefully next week closes that chapter, Chris, and seals that door shut, and it's done. But I know it won't, but
it's never going to happen until this guy retires. Until he retires and goes away, or he doesn't win, he doesn't make the play, whatever. It's never going away. But Mark,
and by the way, Chris, not to interrupt you, next week we'll have a plane story for you at some point because he's flying in. So we'll have a plane story because you can't not have a plane story with him.
You had to remind me
Joe,
of that.
Right? Joe.
Oh, my goodness.
Right?
You had to remind me that I had to get on a plane and fly like 85 hours back there,
Listen,
I want to get on the Concorde and go into space first.
Listen,
and down.
We'll remind you.
Knock him out before it goes on a plane.
Yeah. Give me something.
Listen, we'll remind everybody next week, and we'll remind them tomorrow, Chris. But I do want to give a little plug. We're going to be at that game live. We'll be on Twitter. Make sure you check your Twitter feed next Sunday because we'll be live. He'll be miserable because he was on a plane the day before, but we'll be on.
At @Corso_Catone is our Twitter handle, right, Joe? Is that what we call it?
You got it.
Wow.
Hey,
Joe, you got that right, Joe. Joe,
Listen,
I'm impressed.
I'm getting good at this. I'm getting real good at this. But you know what, Mark? It's the book. It's the Wickersham book that's coming out. I think that's what it is. I think there's going to be stuff. And I can't wait to get it. We're going to have to read that so we can talk to the people about it and see what's coming out. Otherwise, if there's nothing in there, Mark, then Brady's just it's irritating now. Now it's irritating because get over it. Yeah. You left. You're gone. Get over it now. Yeah. You know what I mean? You wanted to go to a place where they were going to just give you everything, let you do what you want, travel when you want, miss practices, whatever he wants to do. That's what they do. And if there's nothing in that book that he's trying to, defend and get out in front of, then then I'm losing some respect for Brady. And I don't know that I really ever even had any for his camp. I mean, Guerrero, I have no. To me, that guy is like completely useless. He gives him a massage. He talks him up. He tells him how great he is. But all this nonsense about the TB12 method and all this stuff he's getting from fruits and vegetables, and he's squeezing it into a bottle and rub it on yourself, drink it, whatever the hell, bathe in it. Mark, When
did a trainer become part of the camp, the quote unquote camp? And like, who has camps? You know what I mean? Like, whatever happened to somebody's publicist? Like that person speaking out as the only person. You know what I mean?
When you win 7 rings in 2 different places, and you break all these. I mean, if you look back at the Patriots records, Mark and Joe, I mean, they're stupid numbers. 21 games in a row.
Didn't we get to hear from his hairstylist? I mean, because they should have a voice too. I mean, right?
Chris, God forbid he repeats this year and they win 2 in a row in that clown place down there. Oh my God.
Well, since and I haven't given my prediction of tomorrow for the Patriots yet, but since you're talking about that. What do you think's going to happen this week with the Rams? Because I don't see Tampa. I think Tampa's going to walk out of there with a loss. Put your mic on.
Rams are beating them.
I think so too, which is bad for New England.
Yeah, it is. You know what? I hope they kick the shit out of the Rams. I'm going to be honest with you. That's the only shot. We got let them come in 3-0, blowing everybody out, and then we put something together against them.
And Brown's on the COVID list, isn't he? Or was he? Or was
Antonio
he out?
Brown's on the COVID list. Yeah, I don't think he's playing.
He's playing. But, don't worry. Don't worry. He'll be back next week.
Oh, of course.
Don't you worry. Because they're 100% vaccinated. So what he's going to show? 2 negative tests or something like that, and then he can come back. So, they'll be playing next week. Yeah, so I'm not sure how good it is for New England if the Rams beat them. But I agree with you, Mark. The Rams are going to beat that team. And if Darnold wasn't out last year in the playoffs, I think they would have gotten to Tampa.
Yeah, I think they would have too. They would have beat Green Bay. I think they would have too.
And I do, and I think they would have given Brady fits with that front four. So that's going to be a game worth watching. That's going to be a 4:00 start. So that game will be happening when Mark and I are on the air for our post-game show, the Pats Nation. Again, as Joe always likes to say, it's the only post-game show worth watching, right, Joe?
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, you two. Who couldn't love these two pretty faces out there?
Especially when you're at the market donating that $1 in every store you go to. How many stores do you go to, Mark, in a day?
Chris, you gotta talk to my wife. I'm like they send me to all these stores. They do it to bust my beans. They know I can't stand going to stores, and that's all they do is send me to stores.
Well, listen, that's our 2-minute warning.
Chris, what's your prediction? You didn't make a prediction.
Oh, yes, that's right. The prediction. Yeah, listen, I think it's going to be a defensive struggle tomorrow. Offensive struggle, a defensive battle, and I think it's going to end up 13-10 for New England. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I do not think they're going to take the training wheels off. I subscribe to Mark's idea of week 4, trying to get that done a little more. And I just think it's going to be a kicking fest. Whoever can make the most kicks is going to win this game. And I think Winston will turn the ball over too. The problem is New England won't get enough points off turnover. Last week they were 16 points off the turn of 4 turnovers? 4
or 5 turnovers, yeah.
That's disgusting. So 2-minute warning was presented by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots, the real Patriots post-game show, and that'll always be airing 30 minutes following, not always, we'll talk about that in a minute, but 30 minutes following every single Patriots game. Join Mark and I for all your post-game coverage. Mark, some people to thank. We're at an end. I want to thank the good people over at Special Sauce Podcast, Startup Finance, and Drive Yourself to Success, specialsaucepodcast.com. Studio 42 Designs for all your graphic design needs, studio42designs.com. CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal law firm in Arizona. CORSOLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Jag Media Productions. Everything looked great today, Joe. Nice job, Jag Media Productions. And Mountain View Home Watch and Security, Scottsdale's leading home watch and security firm. Tune in next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, for our show, Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel, where we're, of course, going to preview that Buccaneer game. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And tune in tomorrow. Make sure you join Mark and I for the post-game show, the Pats Nation, the Real Patriots post-game show. We're going to go talk MacMania, go through our Sunday stiff, and Brady versus Belichick. Make sure you tune into this because you're not going to want to miss it. Mark usually goes off the rails. A programming note real quick, Joe. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneer game, we won't be on at the same day. We will be on one day following on the Monday, October 4th at 7 p.m. Mark and I are going to need a day to absorb everything that's going to go on. So Monday, October 4th.
You'll be drooling on yourself by the end of that game.
The Pats Nation post-game show, 10-4 at 7 p.m. Eastern. We can go over everything from that epic event. So for Mark Catone, Joe Goneri, I'm Chris Corso. So long, everyone.